And immediately, as I was bending over to put on my sock, my back went out. And it went out in a way that I kind of described it like a spasm. So
Okay.
it's almost like when the spasm started, I would have it run through my torso, and I would lose the ability to control my limbs, so my legs and my arms. I got I went into the ER in a wheelchair and actually came back out in the wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
And I was in bed, incapacitated, so to speak. I had to have my husband lift me up, put me in a wheelchair, um, to take me to the restroom. He would have to hold me up by my ribs, so I could just brush my teeth. And even brushing my teeth to bring my hand up was me starting to get better.
All right, we're rolling.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Paradise Pump. And today we have a very special guest, Miss Gina Ross.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. I'm
You're
super
welcome.
excited to be
You're
here.
welcome.
I
And as
am-
usual, Mel and Jed are
Yes.
here. And I'm Mark. But what's going on, Gina? How's it going?
But
It's going great.
before we get to asking you what's going on with you, I need to go down the laundry list of not even all, some of the accolades that you most recently had acquired. And I know there's so much more in the works. But first and foremostly, Miss Gina Ross, a wife, a mom, Miss America United States, Miss Hawaiian Islands, Miss Aloha State International, Miss Paradise of the Pacific, Miss the People's Choice, owner of Fit for a Goddess. If girls, if you want to get in shape and doing it a little bit on the risque end, is there a next way to say it?
Yeah, honestly, it's for everyone. You
Working the
just
pole.
Pole
yeah.
dancing.
Pole dancing.
The
Hella
pole.
sexy. Check her out. It's in Ward Avenue.
Yes, Ward
Right.
Avenue.
Very tastefully done. Not something you see at maybe something you see at these bars, but hey, whatever floats your boats. I'm not done yet. Front cover of Crown Magazine, MC for Ikaika Bodybuilding Classic Competition, a fellow bodybuilder in the wellness division, former bikini
Figure. Firmer
Oh,
figure.
I almost had it.
Mm.
That was your wellness debut in 2023.
Yes.
And you are an advocate for, I see, Breakthrough for Brain Cancer.
Yes.
And you have a new nonprofit 501c3, right? To help with
yeah, so
suicide awareness. And
mhm.
go ahead and continue if you want to go ahead and
Okay. Yeah, so you know, honestly, just being crowned last year in August as Mrs. America's United States was a dream come true, and that I had been working for about 4 or 5 years. And then, yes, partnering with additional nonprofits here that I was working with previously before Mrs. America, and then adding to that list of, American Suicide Prevention Foundation, WSO, Give Me a Break, another nonprofit. And, I just really, really wanted to help our community here. And my platform is all about health and fitness and empowering us all from the inside out. And, for me, it's a platform for pageant. Yet I had started this journey not knowing I was going to be in pageantry, and falling in love with fitness about 17 years ago.
Okay, so that's what I like to get into is,
Yeah.
why did you get started in fitness? Like, what was it that got you inspired, and what was the reason? And then, yeah, like obviously 17 years, right? So,
Yeah.
what was it? What was it that made you want to do it?
I when I got asked to come on here, I thought I was so excited, and I started thinking about how, the why, where it all began. And I realized that as I was growing up, from when I can even remember, it was because of my dad,
Hmm.
who he was an avid lifter, always in the gym. And at that time, way back when, we're not telling any ages, but way back when it was, Timmy's gym, and it was
Oh,
all my
yeah.
uncles, Uncle
Yeah.
Moki, Uncle Charlie, my dad, and they come together, they lift, and I was the first girl for my dad at that point back then. So I had all brothers, all my uncles, so they tolerated little me, the only girl, running around, getting to run around in the gym,
Yeah.
and seeing them after lifting, get together and
That's
so
cool.
forth. And moving forward, kind of flashing back and then looking now, when I started at Fit for a Goddess, which 17 years ago, I fell into it. It was a different fitness format, no fitness background, and very little dance background, hula. And something about pole fitness was so inspiring to me because it was, so challenging. And for me at that point, I was very challenged. And what I immediately thought was, how can I better prepare my body for this movement?
Okay.
And the answer to me was, I'm going to get into the gym.
Right.
I'm going to
That's
get
smart.
stronger because that's going to help me with what my goal was, and that was getting better in, pole fitness and pole dancing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
From then, I fell in love with the idea and the results that I was getting from coupling my strength training at the gym with the format that I wanted, pole dancing and pole fitness. And that was it. Seeing the results and just being consistent, excelling in both areas, because I loved and even now, like, I love training. I love that, weightlifting
great.
part.
Yeah.
And yet the dance part is, I love it, but I love it in a different way because
Yeah.
it's a little bit more expressive. It's a little more feminine. I get my aggression out, whatever is bothering me, whatever on the weights, take it over, and then I can get the whatever out.
Yeah,
with
the
the
A
artistic
nice
side.
Yeah,
yin
the
and yang
Yeah, yeah, no, I
and
of
it's so
that.
the
complimentary.
get that.
masculine and the feminine. You know,
Yeah.
nice yin and yang.
Yeah,
All right.
get that.
Here we go.
definitely.
That's pretty cool. So yeah, so like right now, how many days a week do you work out?
7.
7 days. All right, everybody, 7-day weeker right here. That's not the norm.
That is not the norm.
Most people don't,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
so you lift weights how many days a week?
So I lift weights 6 days a week
That's really
That's
impressive.
still a lot.
right now.
And then you dance how many days a week?
And then I dance 4 days a week
Wow.
for at least about 2.5 to 3 hours a day.
So would you say that you're obsessed?
I'm absolutely obsessed.
I think so.
I think so.
You
I've
know,
seen
but
her work
obsession
out in the
is
gym.
good though,
Yeah,
right? Like being obsessed,
absolutely.
if
Like,
it's healthy, like
yeah,
it's good, right? Like
Right,
it gives you
because
purpose, right?
it gives you
Yeah.
purpose and it gives you that outlet.
Yeah.
Because we all know, life is not sunshine and rainbows all
No.
the time. Period. And if there's something, some vice, some sort of avenue
Outlet.
and
Yeah.
outlet that you can channel and you can get that relief,
Yeah.
that's the way to go. I want to be addicted to that,
Yeah. It's healthy.
Mhm.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
Where,
and
yeah. So all of the things that you do with the Miss America United States, all of your non-profs that you do,
Mhm.
the dancing, the training in the gym, and where do you find the time and the energy? I see you work out. I'm like, damn,
because you're married too, right?
she's married to.
I'm married.
Yes.
Do you have
Um,
kids?
Yes, my
Kids,
son
right?
is
Yeah,
22.
Oh wow, so he's grown.
He's
Yeah,
grown.
right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. But
But-
that doesn't mean, it doesn't mean.
No, yeah. You're,
anything,
you're
right?
still a
Yeah.
parent. You're still a
Yes.
parent. He probably hits you up for like money now. Just,
Oh
"Hey,
yeah,
Mom,
yeah,
Give me some
yeah.
money. Give me some money.
He
right?"
just texted me
That's what
right
they do.
before the camera went
Yeah.
on. Yeah.
That's what they do now. They're like, they don't talk very much. They just want money. Just give me some
Right.
money, Mom. I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So where do you find the time for all of this and balancing everything you got on your plate?
You know what I really think it comes down to is you do what you love. I really, becoming an entrepreneur, about, how many years ago, I deliberately wanted to choose every single thing that I did in moving forward with a career. I wanted to make it everything about what I love to do, what gives me joy, and how I can help the next person, be it a woman, with personal training, be it a man,
Mhm.
or, working with them in dance. I want to love it. So that way, when I work with someone, or translate in the gym,
Mhm.
I'm happy I'm here.
Yeah.
Our bodies are so miraculous.
Mhm. It
Um,
really is.
and fitness, of course, I fell in love with it for different
Yeah.
reasons. And a few years ago, I had an injury, and everything got taken away. Everything that I created my life around, right? For money, for career, social, for fun, it got taken away
What
like
was the
that.
injury? What was the injury?
It was my back.
Okay.
Yeah.
How'd you hurt it? You're
It's
gonna tell
really
us.
funny.
You're gonna tell us.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
tell you.
Okay.
I was about to get ready to go to the gym with my husband. It was our day off, and that's what we do. And I stood on one leg and started to put on one of my socks. And immediately, as I was bending over to put on my sock, my back went out. And it went out in a way that I kind of described it like a spasm. So
Okay.
it's almost like when the spasm started, I would have it run through my torso, and I would lose the ability to control my limbs, so my legs and my arms.
Wow.
Okay.
And you know, I found out after going to the hospital. My husband finally convinced me to go to the hospital. And I didn't want, because I didn't want to go to the hospital for the back, even though I was in so much pain and I, at that point, couldn't move.
I see.
I passed out from the pain. That convinced me to go to the doctor, and come to find out, I had a fracture in my L4,
Oh.
which is called a pars bilateral defect. And at the same time, I had 3 herniated discs that I didn't know about. And I do so much, right? Everything is physical. And it really took me out. He would have to push me around after I got released from the ER. It was, here's your painkillers, and you'll have to make more appointments for that.
Okay.
I went into the ER in a wheelchair, and I actually came back out in the wheelchair.
Oh wow.
And I was in bed, incapacitated, so to speak. I had to have my husband lift me up, put me in a wheelchair, to take me to the restroom. He would have to hold me up by my ribs, so I could just brush my teeth. And even brushing my teeth to bring my hand up was me starting to get better,
Jeez.
because I couldn't even raise my hands above my shoulders to put up my hair. And it was a hard time.
How long was that?
It took about 2 months.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's a long 2
No,
months.
now 2 months, meaning so that I could get to walk with my walker.
Okay, not even back to normal.
Yeah.
Just 2 months
Mm-hmm.
of being able to
Yeah.
do stuff on your own,
Mhm.
but not normal. How many months did it take till you were back to normal?
It took 4.5
Wow,
when they said it was going to take 6.
that's pretty.
And
Okay.
in addition to, another layer was, at that time when I was trying to seek help from, they said, okay, go to physical therapy. We're going to assess you in a month with a spine surgeon. And I said, okay. They said, one of the doctors said acupuncture. And that honestly was a light bulb for me, because when I got sent away with the painkillers, I didn't take them because they make me sick.
Yeah.
I took them once and I got
I
really
get the same
ill.
way.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
So I turned to acupuncture and Chinese herbs to help with that.
Okay.
I did my own little corrective PT. And by the time, and that was, maybe beginning of March, by the end of June going into July, when I finally got my first appointment with physical therapy,
Mhm.
everything from acupuncture, the Chinese herbs, light stretching, yoga, they told me, hey, you took care of everything we would have done here. See your spinal surgeon. And I got released from the spinal fusion that they had really, really, really wanted me to do.
And you didn't do it.
No, I
Okay.
did not do
Okay.
it. I chose not to. Yeah.
That's an
And-
amazing
yeah.
story. I mean, so as far as the herniated disc, no problems as of I mean, knock,
knock on wood. So, as of now, absolutely not.
that is wonderful because I'm suffering through my own problems of back pain and stuff like that. For you to make a full recovery and seeing you work out, that's very inspirational, knowing that that could happen as well too. Being that said, now you've been incapacitated, you know what it feels like. So now, like, you never take a day for granted, right?
Yeah.
And any type of movement exercise is like, heck yeah, I done it today. It's
That's why she
freaking
does 6 days a
awesome.
week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
Right?
like, honestly, to be able to wake up, get out of bed, brush my teeth, just get here, get out of my car, get up the stairs. And then now I get time for a workout. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I can actually do these things now. I mean, how miraculous, our bodies, like I
Yeah.
said, the utmost respect for the way that our bodies are, that we can heal ourselves.
Yeah.
Not that I'm saying, surgery wasn't an option. It's just I chose to go a different route. And, I kind of thought, hey, let's see this first, let's see if we can get better this way first without going under,
Oh yeah,
under the
because I mean,
knife.
anytime they go
Yeah.
with your back, I mean, if you get surgery in your back, it's always a risk, right?
Right.
There's always a
Right.
risk benefit, but there's
So we
always
talked about
something.
last week how there's a few competitors that, they wear their competition on their sleeve, and then there's people like you just so happy to be in the present moment that you're gonna have your ups and downs.
Yeah.
Competition, it's
Yeah.
difficult.
It is.
But I seen you backstage when you got off stage at Stingray, and I took that video of you guys, and you and Tina was like hugging and stuff.
She's super.
Do you have it?
You're super.
You were like so happy.
You
You
have
guys were
high
like
energy.
bawling
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
high energy backstage, and there was just so much love and excitement and joy that, heck yeah, we did that. We got off the stage, and this is whatever happened, and we
Yeah.
did it. And I wish more people would just be present in the moment instead of being like, oh, woe is me. I gotta do
Right.
so much cardio just to get there. Yeah, you
We
get to do that much cardio.
Yeah, you get to, because
you get to exercise.
we don't have to,
Yeah.
as human beings, like, we don't have to do any one thing.
Yeah.
And the way I look at it is I get to,
Yeah.
Thank you.
get
High
to,
five to that. High five.
I get to, train my butt off and be on stage.
Yeah.
I chose this.
Yes, thank you.
Why do I want this whole journey of prep to be that grueling? And honestly, so let me just say this, because you talked about, this last time. I remember 10 years back when I, was prepping for my first comp. I lived that grueling journey where it was, it was hard, and I think I had I will say I had an absolutely different mindset then.
Yeah. Well, that makes
and
sense.
it felt longer, like that prep felt so different that time. This time around, it was like the doctors were like, I don't even know if you're going to be able to bodybuild again. I don't even think you're going to be
I
able
got
to
that
pull
story.
anything
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
And I, once they said that to me, the way I am, I'm like, really?
Sitting here
You'll
like,
see.
yeah, right.
Yeah, because I'm
Yeah.
like, I respect what you're
You like
saying
a
as a
challenge.
doctor.
Yeah.
And I think, that just really, really kind of sets the pace for me is I
Mhm.
get to. I have the opportunity
Yes.
to.
That's
'Cause
a
there's-
great.
I
yeah.
get
This is
to.
a great outlet because we were talking. And we had an episode where we were talking about the mindset. And it's so much of the mindset, and a lot of it. And we were saying, like, it starts with the individual and that person's mindset. It's not really like the coach's job
Yeah.
to get you in the mindset.
hmm
And do you agree with that? Do you feel like it really starts with you, and then of course your coach can inspire you, they can help you
Yes.
keep you going, but it really starts with yourself?
hmm
Do you agree with that?
I
Or-
absolutely 100%
Yeah.
agree with that.
okay.
It really starts with us first,
Good answer.
because we all, like I said, there's always external circumstances that can affect us.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you see other people, and I hear so many wonderful stories of
Mhm.
people overcoming so much and adversities.
Yes.
Mhm.
Physically, when you see certain shows, I mean, they even have the shows where the bodybuilders are coming out in their wheelchairs,
Oh yeah, that's inspirational.
right?
Yeah.
It was just like, I'm complaining
Yeah.
about having to do cardio.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Look at that, you
Yeah.
know?
So you do that a lot then. So that
Mhm.
that for
I
you,
do.
that gets you inspired a lot.
Yeah.
It's seeing things like seeing, oh, somebody doesn't have much or somebody's struggling, and you go, wow, look at where I'm at and look at where this person is at. And I can do all these things. And then
Mhm.
it kind of gives you the inspiration to push even more
Yep.
because you realize that people out there would just want to just have be able to walk, let
Yeah,
alone
there's
train,
someone
right?
out
Yeah.
there, every one of us that are
Yeah.
sitting here, there's someone else out there wishing they were
In your
where
shoes.
you are, right? Where we all are,
Mhm.
because of whatever. And it's
Yeah.
like, we should be that grateful,
Hmm.
we should be every day,
Okay.
every
Do
day.
you think because you're also a coach too, right?
I am.
Now, do you do you try to inspire your clients? Do you try to do you feel like that's part of your job is to inspire
Yeah,
them?
I
Like how do you
do.
feel,
But
right?
she's high
Yeah.
energy. She's
Yeah.
No,
so
you are
like,
high energy.
Yeah.
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 And yeah, because I mean
Yeah.
you probably have a lot of clients maybe that there at least there's few that come in and maybe they're just not feeling it or they're
Yeah.
down. And I mean, what do you do? How do you get these people to change their mindset to get to feel better?
You know, the funny thing is because naturally, like, I am that cheerleader person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, when I have that client, I mean, she's coming and I'm thinking of a client and she's coming and, she's got a load of things.
Hmm.
Um, I recognize, maybe she's not having a good day. And honestly, she just wants to talk. She wants to tell me what's going on. She wants to have someone to confide into.
Yeah.
Once we get that out of the way and we identify, okay, that's the problem. All right. How are we going to work around it?
Mhm.
And I might not be giving her any solutions, but her being able to talk about what's going on so that she can, at least while she's with me, get that out the way. And then
Yeah.
we go, okay, let's take some of that. Let's go here. Let's
Yeah.
get that out.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, the session will start to turn. Like, the more she starts, okay, she's getting all of that out, you know.
Right. Right.
And I think I have a few clients that have, like, maybe depression, some mental
Yeah.
mental health challenges and things like that. And it's a revisit to, why do you want to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to be a better mom. I want to be healthy,
Mm.
these type of things. Whatever their reason for being with me is,
Right.
I'll
Yeah.
have them revisit it.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, so you're very inspirational. See, that's it. And that's what it's
Compassionate and
about. That's what
yeah,
it's
she
about.
is very empathetic and compassionate. Like you're a mom,
Mhm.
so maybe
Yeah.
a lot of that stems from there as well too. We were just out.
Hmm.
I was just complaining. Most of my not my friends. Most of my friends that I help, they're guys, and I treat them like that. I'm not there to coddle them, and
Yeah.
like I was just telling Mark and Jed last week, I'm like, I don't get paid for this kind of stuff. I don't need to mother you or sister or aunt or whatever you, man. You guys are guys. Figure it out.
Yeah.
Get it
Yeah.
together.
That's right.
But
And they ought to. I mean, really. I mean,
but
that's how I think anyway. But
yeah.
whatever.
So now I know, like, as far as you being that much more compassionate, I mean, your energy draws that. So if anybody needs somebody to talk to, just talk to Gina
If you want to learn how to work the pole, just
Yeah.
talk to Gina.
and vent at the same time about your
Even at the same
problems.
time.
So, because me, part of the reason why I started this podcast, one of the big reasons, because I like to, I mean, it's a lot of it's people from Hawaii, pretty much, right? A lot of people that live here or are from here. And my big thing was really to find out like their background, like what inspires them, and then also like where they're from, like what kind of environment did they grow up, like so like where are you from originally, like where were you raised, like stuff like that. I kind of want to
Okay.
let's go back a little bit
Yeah.
further. Let's
Little
stop the
Gina.
cobwebs.
From Timmy's
Let's get the
gym.
cobwebs. Let's vacuum the cobwebs off
Yeah.
Yeah.
because we have to
Okay.
vacuum it.
Right.
And then let's get in there and
Yeah.
let's tell us, let's go back. Let's go back.
Okay. So, I'm actually I grew up a military brat. So my stepdad is in the army, or was in the army. And so I was, born, raised here. I went to Maryknoll for grade school and I left I think I was about 8 or
Wow.
so. And I went to, I was I went to Colorado Springs
Oh
Okay.
wow.
first.
Military.
Yeah.
Army, huh?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah. that is
Lived in
military.
Colorado Springs, went to elementary there, and then Fort Carson,
Oh yeah.
Colorado.
Of course, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Coldest place I've ever lived, and I've lived in Europe. Negative 32, right at the base of the Rocky
Wow.
Mountains.
Beautiful.
And then from there, I went to Wellington, Florida. That was sixth grade. In my sixth grade year, I went to 3 different schools.
Okay.
Wellington, Florida was just a little few months, and then I went straight to Schweinfurt, Germany.
Schweinfurt.
Schweinfurt,
Mhm.
Germany for, I guess it was junior
Yeah.
high. And then high school was Würzburg, Germany.
And that's on the military base. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Oh,
Nice.
you do?
You do. Right
You
on.
No,
don't-
that was
I can
all
see
that
that.
was. Do you
It's
speak
German,
German?
yeah.
No.
I took German class senior year in high school. I took a 1 year of German.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I learned some basics.
so hard. It's a rough language.
Yeah, no, it is. Yeah. Oh, that's
So what brought
great.
you back to
yeah.
Hawaii?
Ah,
Yeah.
So
Here we go.
so
Was it a
sad.
guy? Was it a dude?
No,
No.
actually, well, I mean,
Okay.
I'm ninth grade,
Okay.
ninth, maybe 10th grade at that time. It was 1994. I remember this.
Oh.
I came back home to Hawaii because I was living with my mom and my stepdad, and I wanted to change. I was missing home.
Okay.
The whole time I was gone from 8 years old to 15,
Okay.
and living all these places, I always came home. Summer, Christmases.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
And I just really missed it. And I wanted to go to high school
Here.
out here. So moved
Okay.
back home, went to Kalani High School.
Kalani
Kalani.
Falcons.
Wait, where did you go?
Yes.
You went to
Another
Kalani?
Falconeer right here.
Oh my God, you guys both went to Kalani. Well, I graduated from Kaiser, so I was, down
You're
the
a little
road-
ways down the
road
way.
from you guys, but that's so funny. I
Yeah.
didn't even Kalani. Oh my God, that is
And
hilarious.
It was really, it was
Yeah.
really just a good time, I feel like, for high school.
Okay.
When I came back,
Yeah.
because I had been in Germany with the Department of Transportation, or excuse me, the Department of Defense.
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
Their schooling system was actually way more advanced. And so I
It
got
was.
all these credits. I
Okay.
came home and I was 15. I was in my 10th grade year, and I started working immediately as soon as I came home.
Wow.
So I worked through high school. My senior year, I only needed like 2 credits. So I
Jeez.
went to school for maybe 2 hours, and then I had 3 different jobs during my senior year.
Oh wow.
Wow, you really
Yeah.
are a go-getter.
I
High energy, man.
Yeah,
Just
can't keep me.
keep.
You can't keep me down.
No.
You've always been like that. You've always had this energy, huh?
I guess I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you consider yourself like, oh, I'm kind of hyper? I mean, would you call yourself that?
Yes.
Or yeah,
Yes.
you're like, yes.
Humbly
So
saying.
you don't need the pre-workouts and stuff.
No, I like the
Yeah.
pre-workout.
Oh, you do like.
Oh,
Oh,
uh-oh.
wow.
Watch out.
Oh, you do like it.
I like it.
Okay, all right, all
I
right.
like it
all
a
right,
lot.
All right. All
Yeah,
right.
I like pre-workouts, and
Alright.
so I do take pre-workouts.
So, what is your ethnicity anyway? I'm curious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hawaiian, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, and Mexican.
Wow.
Yes. My mom is actually from California. She's Mexican.
Hmm.
And my dad is Hawaiian, Japanese, Chinese, and Korean.
Oh, it's okay.
Okay.
So, like, when you're in the mainland, being of Asian descent, right?
Yes.
Hawaiian descent. Like,
Mhm.
do you feel like you got treated a little bit differently in certain places
Um,
because of that?
yes. I do, it's really an interesting thing coming from Hawaii, where everyone is everything.
Yeah.
And depending on where I lived, Colorado, it was, it's very, it's going to be Black, you're going to be some sort of Spanish,
Yeah.
or white.
That's it.
Like,
Yeah, right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And when I'm there, they'll perceive me as
Mexican.
More Hispanic,
Yeah,
right?
like
Probably
they
more
don't
Hispanic.
know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But to me, just because of how we grew up,
Yeah.
here, and then of course with being a military brat, everyone's from everywhere. Who cares?
Yeah.
You just get along with
Yeah.
everybody anyway. And
Right.
the cool thing is that I live in all these different places, and of course, social media keeps us in touch with people. And
Mhm.
so I do still, keep in touch with some of the people, from Germany
Oh,
who
okay.
move back, stateside and so
Yeah.
forth. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
That's
you
awesome.
being a military brat, you've never wanted to join the military.
So
what happened?
I did. I
Okay.
absolutely
Okay.
did. I was in JROTC, for a couple of years. I was ready. I was ready to go to the Air Force.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And what happened?
Life.
Life. So right out of high school, I ended up meeting my first husband.
I see.
Stayed home, had my son. I had I was in college
Mhm.
after high school. So I went to college, and then all of that happened and got married. And then I
Okay.
was just like, okay,
So you
finished
said,
college,
okay.
and then, got married, the
Yeah,
whole
and then
deal.
the whole,
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
And then obviously that, since that was your first, that didn't work out.
Yeah, it was the first.
This is your
Yeah.
second, right?
Yes.
Okay.
My second
Good job.
marriage.
Good job. Good job.
Yes.
See,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. That's
We
good.
met in the gym. So
Good,
that
we're
was
good.
like, oh, okay. Love at first sight,
Oh,
right? The
it was
gym.
the gym. It was the
It was
gym
the
one. Okay. The
gym.
gym, yes.
Yeah.
Love in
Yeah.
the gym.
Yeah. You can find love in the gym too.
On island?
Mhm.
On
Oh
island.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, it's our 6-year anniversary of being married is tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
just celebrated our
Congratulations.
10 years. Yeah.
Oh, how
Love
sweet.
can come from the gym too, ladies.
I feel
There's
like
hope for me then.
Gentlemen.
There's hope
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, did you approach him? Did you approach him?
Oh,
Why do I feel
boy.
like it was you
It
that
was
approached him?
okay. It was not,
You
but
have-
it's actually a really funny story.
All
All right, do
all
tell. It's
Get
a
into-
gym
get into
story.
it,
Go
Okay,
get
ahead.
it's a
into it,
gym story.
get
So,
into it.
my last job, aside from entrepreneurship, I was working at UFC. It was a performance coach, which just means you're a personal trainer, right? Performance coach. And I opened up UFC Waikele, and I had a rule of thumb. Okay, this is like a rule of thumb for me.
No dipping your
Thank
pen
you.
in company ink.
Yeah,
That was the
so never date gym members. That
Okay.
was just my rule, and I put it in place when I became a trainer. Like, we're just not doing that,
Yeah.
And so opening up UFC, we have to teach certain, group fitness classes. They're called DUTs or whatever. And I was in my DUT, and I'm very vocal, very loud, and so I'm guiding loudly but gently and nicely all of my students, the members on this particular class, and we're actually located in the bag room.
Yeah.
And so everybody's doing exactly what I say. I like that. And I look over peripheral vision to the right of me. There's two guys. They're not doing what I'm saying. I yell at them. Hey, you two over there, you need to get down, and and they look at me, and I'm like, oh shoot, you're actually not in my class.
They're not.
Never mind. Okay. Da-da-da. And so
Oh my gosh.
You're
So
like, oh my
I
god, that guy
just-
was handsome.
yeah. And so I just yelled at him. And he would see me a few times in the gym, and I'd be working out, training. I think I was just coming off of my first comp. So, leg press, we're going hard, we're going heavy. He's like, oh, lift a lot. Yeah. Ignore.
Oh, I see.
Then at our grand opening, probably about 2 months later, we met. He came up to me and introduced himself, and he said, hi, I'm Kili'i. And I said, hi, I'm Coach Gina.
You made it very official.
I made it official.
Yeah.
He said, oh, Gina, okay, that's nice. You yelled at me. And all I could do is just laugh. And kind of from then on, actually from that night on, we had been together ever since.
Oh my god.
Oh wow.
Wow. From that night on, wow,
Yeah.
he was smooth, I guess.
So I say,
Honestly, or
yeah.
how was it when he's like, I'm Kelly, and inside of you, you're like, I know, I yelled at you. Were you like that?
Well, I didn't even know his name. Yeah, but I mean, I was just, I knew when he was just introducing me, I was like, oh shit, yeah. Maybe he'll bring it
Oh.
up, maybe he won't, but he definitely
He did. He did.
Mhm,
He
yeah.
probably liked it. He probably liked it. He probably
Apparently.
did.
She came back for more.
Apparently,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He was like, "Whoa!" Even though yell at me like that,
I like
like
this lady. I like
Yeah.
I know she's got some spunk, boy. Yeah.
this short little 5 foot
I know,
something.
yeah, and
Yeah.
he's like,
And
you
he's
know,
tall.
5'11" or
Yeah.
Oh my
whatever.
gosh.
So I look real. I'm 4'11", so
Wait, how tall are you?
4'11".
I'm 4'11".
I was giving you
4'11".
too much
Oh.
credit. I thought you were like 5 feet.
I thought you were at least
I
5
thought I
feet.
was 5
Yeah.
foot this whole time too, and then when I went to check into
Oh my God.
Stingray, we confirmed that now in the
You're like,
4'11".
I thought I was 5 foot.
That's
so
a great story.
Yeah.
So how long you guys been together for? 10 years.
10 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and tomorrow is our 6-year wedding
So
anniversary.
knowing that you were Coach Gina and you're doing that classes, did he join any of your
No,
classes?
none.
I
I don't
he'd
think he
rather
wanted
get
to
yelled
get
at
yelled
by
at.
private.
Yeah, in private.
That's a good idea. It's probably good, smart for him to not
Yeah.
to not do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't want to be like,
But
marriage
because he's a
coach.
coach too, but more
Okay.
he's MMA and
Yeah.
jujitsu.
Okay.
And I did go to a couple of his
Oh, his
classes.
MMA conditioning, right?
Yeah, and
Okay.
I will say it's probably not a good idea for us to like be in class because he'd be like, "Oh, do this," and I'm going,
What? Yeah, you see, you're looking at him like
Mm.
he's your husband,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And
like-
not your coach. You're going, wait, you don't tell me what to
Yeah.
do, buddy. Like,
Remember that
yeah,
first time I
yeah,
yelled at
It
yeah.
you?
doesn't. That's why it doesn't always work out. It's
it
like he's
doesn't
just doing
always.
his job, but you're like, no, I'm gonna talk to him when I get.
Yeah,
home. Like, no, we're gonna have a problem. No, I got a problem with this. Yeah,
The
What do you
car
mean
ride at home was
hustle?
quiet.
you're like, babe, I don't appreciate you yelling at me like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was yelling at everybody. No, you were yelling
No,
at me.
yeah.
I don't
You
like
were
that.
talking about me.
Lower that tone, okay? I'm like, you know what? Go trade with somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's great. That's a
Well,
great
you guys
story.
make a great team. He supported through your this most recent Stingray and all of the
Yes.
pageants that you've been through in between. I
Mhm.
gotta ask, from putting on the gown in comparison to wellness, what do you get more of a high from? Wellness
Oh,
bikini
okay.
or pageant gown?
Oh, that's so hard. Because honestly, it's really funny. It's just like when I think about this, it's just like comparing the two, bodybuilding and pole
Mhm.
dancing for me.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
You know what I mean?
They're different.
I love them in just two different ways,
Mhm.
with stage, and competition ready, being competition ready and being on the stage, it's showcasing you, all your hard work, and you're living in that moment. It's quick. Um, and I think with pageantry, there's a different feel behind it. And actually, that was kind of appealing to me as well with pageantry because you get to be that softer, side. We
Yeah.
get to be that elegant and poised. However, well, in addition, I will say with both of them, because there's posing, there's stage presence, there's all of that in both
In both,
sides.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so that's why I think I enjoy both of them
Even
so
with the-
much.
Even with the pageant stuff, like I don't think people realize like behind the scenes there's interviews. They
Oh,
even monitor your social
yeah.
media. And I know with some divisions they have certain requirements you have to do on that social media from the point you go in up to the pageant time.
Yes.
And you're actually getting scored on that stuff too.
Yep.
So what
Oh.
the people see on stage is just a fraction of what actually goes into it. It's
Into-
actually
yeah.
a long process. So
Yep.
when you're doing wellness, whatever, working on the diet and the posing and the training and cardio, with the pageant, there's just as many variables that are involved too.
There are.
I'm wondering how much of the scoring
Mhm.
is done with the behind the scenes stuff. Like, can you win most of it on the stage, or does that stuff that people don't see on stage such a bigger factor?
Yeah.
How's it divided out?
So that's a great question. So out of 100%, 50% of your scoring, nobody sees.
Oh yeah.
It's in your interview for
Oh,
pageantry.
wow.
It's in your interview and how you hold a conversation, how you connect with the judges or, essentially your audience,
Okay.
who you are, what do you stand for? What's your platform?
Yeah.
What are you going to do with this title? And
Yeah.
so that's a huge part. Interviews, 50%. Nobody sees it.
you have to almost have like a niche when you go in there too. Like you said, like
Yeah.
what's your thing?
Yeah. And so with platform, I have mine with, health and fitness. Some people have it, surrounding, maybe there's a cancer survivor. Maybe there's someone who is an advocate for, sex trafficking. So that why there's a lot of explanation, and and the judges get to see what's behind you, not just your face and the outside, which is really unfortunate because, like you said, nobody gets to see that. And we're very much so monitored on social media, what we post, how we live on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
So that's also going on. And then your evening gown is 25%.
Oh, that's a huge chunk.
And the other 25% goes to fitness. So there's a fitness
okay.
category, how you show up,
Yeah.
on stage
Yeah.
in these different categories. Total of your 100% there.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many years have you been doing pageants?
Only since ending of 2019.
So how many
Yeah.
years
Wow.
prior to that were you already grooming, preparing yourself to knowing that 50% is behind the scenes? How much of that time were you doing setting up for pageantry?
So I feel that for me, with pageantry and with the, what I wanted to choose as my platform,
Okay.
I felt, honestly, I've been working on my pageantry platform for 17
That's
years.
beautiful.
You know what I
You
mean?
didn't
Yeah,
have to
yeah.
fake and be like,
I
oh, I
didn't
gotta make
think-
a clean
right,
name.
Yeah. And I thought, so
Yeah.
maybe I'm gonna, do this or this. And I'm like, why am I trying to make myself something,
That you're
in
not,
addition,
yeah.
when I have a beautiful platform, life, career that I can really just elevate.
That's awesome.
And I don't have to, come up with all these different, I don't want to say gimmicks. The word kind of came out. I apologize, but I don't have to think of all these other, platforms that, aren't authentic or true to me. Because
Okay.
whatever I do, I want to love, and I want to really believe like this is something that I'm all in for.
You know,
Yeah,
at my
okay.
older age, that was one of the messages that came across. Me and my mother had this conversation. She was like, "You're in this situation now, and at this point moving forward," she calls me Melanie. Don't you guys ever dare. Only when I'm getting in trouble. My name's Melanie. But she's like, Melanie, why don't you just do what you love? Why don't you just do what makes you happy? And I was like, actually, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you obviously advocate for it because that's your whole life. That's
Mhm.
so awesome. Because most of the time, so like as far as the way that the world is kind of set up, you have to work to earn a living to do the XYZ. Not too many entrepreneurship, not too many things that, people do that they're happy with because it's life. You got to
Right.
do it. And like we've talked about before, they do this because they love it. They became a
Yeah.
gym owner and coaches and
Mhm.
so on because they love it. And I see myself now nearing stepping into the shoes of doing the things I love to do
Yeah.
and actually making a living off of it versus doing what I have to do.
Right.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's I mean, that's why I started this, because
Yeah.
it was like, I was like, okay, I want to do something that I really love, and make a living from it, not just as a hobby anymore.
Yeah.
And I always had jobs, but I was like, all right, I'm going to do something that I love, and that's going to be my career.
Yeah.
That's going to be my job, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
But like I always say, right, if you do something you love, it doesn't feel like you're really working, right?
Yeah. I mean, as of course, we chose a route. Yes, we do what we love. That doesn't
Yeah.
mean we work any less. Let me
Yeah.
just
Oh no, you work hard.
Yeah, like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Jed's here, every
But
day,
it's-
all day with
Jed's here
clients,
a lot.
right?
He lives here,
he's
basically.
like he's doing what he loves,
It's just different though,
But
right?
it's just a different,
when
you're not clocking in,
Yeah,
making money for
when you
someone
just
else.
love
Yeah.
it, then I don't think you're thinking about like I can't wait to get there. I think about sometimes I have those days where just like
Yeah.
like oh,
Yeah.
geez, how much
Yeah.
more time is left on this, like
Mhm.
yeah, I think that's normal, but overall, yeah, like you're there, you're into it, you're not getting distracted, you're just wanting to do that, and it's almost like you can just inspire yourself every time.
Yep.
You're just like, yeah, how can I improve? How can I get better? Right?
Yeah.
When I was sorry.
Instead of doing a job sometimes, because I know when I had a job, sometimes I'd be like, this is it. Like, I just don't feel like I'm going anywhere. Like,
Right.
I'm here and
Yeah.
what's next? Oh, I'm gonna be a manager or whatever. You know, it's like, oh, is that what I want to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, like, I think with this field, it's great because I feel like it's kind of an endless, right? Because there's so much to it, right?
Yes.
You're not just
Mhm.
helping with bodies, physical, you're helping mental. There's all these other things that you can do
Yeah.
within this field. So that's why
I
I
agree.
just love it. I just think it's
Mhm.
great.
Jed,
So
what were you saying?
When I had another job,
Yeah.
I was always thinking about when can I get out of here and go to the gym because I was going to the gym after
Right.
work.
Yeah, right.
Same.
So when
Right.
I've had, you guys get to know me. I've had, God, so many jobs, so many different jobs. And every one of those jobs, I always wondered, like, when can I get out of here and go to the gym?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I remember probably even before I was in high school, I decided I wanted, well, no, when I was in high school, because I was working, I was like, I want a job where nobody can tell me when I can work out.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's, and now that I stay in the gym, I don't think about what I'm doing after.
Yeah, because you're in the gym
Except-
all
Except
day.
I'm like, I'm going to bed as soon as I get home.
Yeah.
That's about
I'm
it.
done after
Yeah,
all
that's
this
about it.
long day. at the
he's
gym.
here.
But I don't have that itching to get out of here thing
Right.
like I used to
Yeah.
have.
Because
at
you're
other
very
jobs.
comfortable in it.
And I've
This
had
is
good
where you wanna
jobs
be.
that paid, and I've had options to go different routes. Like with the IT background, the Navy, and the degrees I have, I could have
Yeah.
went to a 6-figure job
Oh,
very easy.
Oh yeah.
But I was like, I don't want to be the guy 10 years down the road saying what if, and I don't want to be making good money but being miserable, because I wasn't doing what I wanted
That's
to
a
do.
big one
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Make more. Is the money worth the pain? You
Yeah.
know, like,
Same.
is it worth it? Or
Yeah.
make less, but just be happy along the way, right? Because
Same.
you only get so many years on this
Yep.
earth. So
Because before I made the leap,
Mhm.
I was an advertising account executive for the Honolulu Star Advertiser.
Oh, you worked for Honolulu?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very lucrative. I got
When was
into
that?
it when I was 23 when I got into it.
Oh, wow.
I had wanted this job.
Okay.
I worked with, high-end clients. We did
Yeah.
ad design. I had a graphics team working for me.
Oh,
I had an
wow.
assistant. This was my dream job.
Wow. Okay.
And I was there over 50 hours a week. I would
Mhm.
leave before my son got up.
Mhm.
I would come home and he'd get in trouble because he stayed up to wait for me. But, and the money was so, was so tempting to stay. And I was missing out on life. Life as being a mom, and I was missing out on his growing up.
I
and
see.
and just one day, and it was probably not, it was more of an impulse, but I was just like, I think I was just like, I had it. And just like Jed was saying, I was thinking about, where I wanted to go after I was out of work. Honestly, I'm like, oh my God, I want to get to the gym. Oh my God, I want to get to the studio.
Yeah.
That's all I would think about.
Yeah.
And finally, just one day, I was like, that's it. I
Well,
am
I'm
done.
not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I don't
Wow.
care how much money that, I'll be fine.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
that's pretty cool. I
So
mean, it
how-
just goes to
yeah.
show.
How many
know.
years now did you have your studio?
So the studio
Or
itself,
or it
yeah. So the
your
studio
whole,
itself,
okay.
Fit for a Goddess,
Mhm.
is just, this year turned 20 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been a part of it
19
in
years.
running it for 17 years.
Was that name?
Fantastic.
Did you come up with the name, or was that already
It
there?
was already there.
Okay. And then you liked it.
Yeah, so my former partner, she actually created it before me, Fit for a
Okay.
Goddess. I came in as a student, worked up my way
Oh, I see.
as instructor assistant to an instructor, master trainer, manager.
And she
Oh
sold it
yeah,
to you?
and then
She
and
sold
then
it to you. Like,
mhm,
here, you want to buy it?
that was a goal, was to
To take
not be a
over.
partner and to
To
be
own it.
sold.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you didn't want to change the name.
No,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love the name.
I like it
too.
too. It works
yeah.
out very well.
No, it's a
Yeah.
great name. I was just
Yeah.
some people like to,
Yes,
they want to have
they
their
want
own
to
name.
rebrand.
Let me
This business for
Yeah.
Fit for a Goddess,
Mhm.
the name and what it's known for meant just as much to me as it did to all of the students that
Mhm.
were already there,
Okay.
that it didn't make sense to change it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's great.
You ever train anybody for like actual competition for the poles? I know there is some. I know the Arnold Classic had it one year.
Oh.
The type where the pole is stationary and the type where it actually pivots. There's
Spins,
two
yeah.
different types.
Yep. Mhm.
And the last girl I knew who did it competitively, her and her mother, they didn't even lift weights. They just did the pole stuff
Yeah.
and they were built.
Yep.
Like you thought they were spending 5 days a week in the gym training. But they did. Have you ever had anybody go through a class that did it at a competitive level?
Yes.
You did?
So, kind of where I was talking about, being the owner and then coming into Fit for a Goddess, that's what I brought to Fit for a Goddess. We created our competition teams.
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, and so we have
Okay.
coaches. So we do have our instructors, a few instructors that serve as coaches for the whole team. And all of our competitions do take place in the mainland. There's nothing here in Hawaii for us, and that's okay. And when the training happens for pole, it's a little bit different because now there's choreography involved.
I see.
They got to make sure, and we call them passes. They have to use a static and a spinning. So they train on static and spinning. And then they come up with their choreography and their routines based upon what they can do and their levels. So the training happens, yes, a lot of practice there. And of course, I believe in cross training with my students. So I encourage them because it's helped me. If they, I'm weak at this or whatever, I say, you know what, have you thought about going to the gym? Well, so I encourage them to cross train and strength build outside because I know it will help them for that, for pole, for competition.
But they do a lot of static stuff. So when I train somebody for something other than contest, I think about what movements are they doing and how can I simulate those movements in the gym. Like for instance, if I have an offensive lineman, I'm gonna find if we had the power squat machine coming down, using your legs and everything to push up because that's how it comes off the offensive line, and then breaking that down to individual exercises to train the muscles. So if I'm thinking about somebody doing pole stuff, I'm gonna think, like for instance, if they're doing a seated leg curl, doing holds on it because they're gonna have to grab onto the pole like that, doing kind of static. So is that some kind of type of the training they would do? What would you suggest?
So a little bit of yes and a little bit of no. You just have to, like you said, be creative, right? And so I call myself because I like to geek out.
Yeah.
Again, I got involved with fitness to learn how I can do these pole tricks. And so I had to shift a little bit of my own training, on myself. Like, okay, for one example that's just coming to me, lat pulls. So, back, obviously upper body, but when you talk about utilizing pole for us, a lot of lats are involved. You have shoulders involved, and those will get worked. In the gym, when we do lat pull downs, it's very wide, right? So we're coming from here and pulling down. And there was a little bit of a time way back when I was having difficulty. I could lat pull and I was starting to do pull-ups wide. For pole, everything is centered in front. So I had to shift the way I was training lats for pole for those things. And so now instead of wide, I had to go close grip. We can't have it. I don't know. Anyway, for a certain, I was thinking of another move. But anyway, so I had to adopt these little changes so that it can reflect on pole. So yes, definitely.
Have you competed?
Yes, I have. I competed my first time. With pole. Now with pole, I didn't get into pole for competition at all.
I see.
This was like something for me and only me for us to do in the studio.
Okay.
And so honestly, and I was an instructor. I can dance in front of my students, but I did for a long time have a fear of performing in front of people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so with pole, I challenged myself and I would do little by little, our businesses would, go to places and do demos. So I'd get that experience, do a pole competition, did my first pole competition in 2018.
Oh, okay.
No, 17, sorry, because it was right before I got married.
All right.
And so I did that one, and then I did two more competitions after that in 2020.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You did 3. Well, that's good.
Mhm.
Pretty good. That's
Yeah.
good, man. Did you like it?
I loved it. I got
Yeah.
first place.
Congratulations.
I love they
Yeah.
got first. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
I had no idea how good you were on the pole.
Oh.
I've known you for a while.
I know, right?
I never really. I know. I've seen I mean, I've seen a video here and there of you showing or teaching,
Yeah.
but I never really got into it and watched your stuff, So it's
Yeah.
like to see like you doing your full dance, I guess, whatever you
Mhm.
guys call it,
Yeah.
I didn't realize at the Arnold, like, what were you saying, Jay?
Yeah.
Was it the Arnold that they had a competition?
Yeah, it was.
Yes.
I can't remember how
Where
many
was
years
I?
ago, but
Drunk?
they did. They had
I-
the static
yeah.
and
And the spinning.
and the
It was a
spinning one.
thing
Yeah.
for a little
That.
while.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's because
Yeah.
it's a sport in itself. I mean, you got to
it's
be an
hard, right.
athlete
It was
to.
on the live stream. They had it on the live stream because it was the first year and they were trying to build it up.
Yeah. And I think they had it 2 more years
Yeah.
after that. Yeah.
Oh,
So
interesting. Okay.
I don't even know the names of moves, but what is your favorite move on the pole? For people who might know.
Right. So for me, I love both aspects. There's a very gymnast tricky side of pole, and there's also a dance side.
okay.
So I'm more of a dancer, but I do love,
Okay, so your style is more of, like dance style, fluid,
yeah.
not so much all tricks.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I do both, but I
Right.
enjoy the dance side. So if I
I
had to
see.
do, just
I see.
maybe my favorite is gonna be a blood donor grip into a straddle,
That sounds
Ooh.
into
interesting.
an outer
I like-
leg
I kind
hang,
of get an idea. Blood
into
donor
a
grip into straddle.
splay,
Ooh.
you know what I mean?
I do have
Like,
to ask
yeah.
the question, in another lifetime, being single and not a mom, you would ever do it for money? Because you know how to do what you do very well on the pole?
No.
I wasn't gonna ask that question, but hey, Mel asked it. Go ahead, Mel.
I mean, you see
That's
them. I
funny.
mean,
Yeah.
a lot of I
Yeah.
get paid in
Yeah.
Vegas. You know, a lot of
Yeah,
the
no,
girls
they
get
they do,
paid,
and I give them the utmost respect
and
because
they don't
again,
take off their
yeah,
garment.
again, coming from
And it's
someone
just tricks. Yeah.
right who had a fear, like I literally did
Yeah.
have a fear of
Of
going in front of
performing.
people, yeah, performing.
Performance anxiety.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I mean, obviously that's gone now, right? You did pageants, you did pole competitions,
Yeah.
you did,
Yeah.
wellness, bodybuilding. Like,
Yeah.
do you still have that? Or
A little butterfly.
I mean,
sometimes.
nerves are normal.
Absolutely, yeah.
Nerves
Yeah.
are normal.
Nerves
Yeah.
and fear, and I do
You still have
get
fear,
them.
though.
I
You still have
do.
fear. Okay.
If
okay.
and it's you guys are gonna laugh because I'm on a, I have a contract on a TV show that I've been doing for like 5 or 6 seasons. I still get butterflies. I'm about to MC, Ikaika. I had butterflies going on stage.
You don't
pageant,
sound like it. You
butterflies.
sound so like conditioned and very well
You know what?
versed speaking on
And
the
for
mic.
me, in some sense, I like when I feel that because I
Right.
actually have to
Wakes you
push
up.
and work
Wakes
through
you
it.
up. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
I get it.
it doesn't stop me anymore.
Mm.
You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
fear of things that used to stop me before, I think maybe probably like, 20s into like, early 30s. Like it was a stopper
It
for
was
me.
debilitating.
Yeah. And I had to work
see.
through it.
I
So
see.
I just find myself, the more I keep doing things that make me uncomfortable and nervous and I feel that fear, there's
Go for
something.
it.
Yeah. And
You
I'm
go-
like,
you go
okay, I
full on,
actually
yeah.
did that.
Yeah, that's great.
Good job.
Okay, so to answer the question, you wouldn't do it.
Oh yeah,
She
oh,
did. She
oh yeah.
did.
So to your question, probably not, because actually I think I know too many people anyway.
Yeah.
For your second
yeah.
house and your
Yeah.
third house, your summer home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no, no judgment about it, but probably not Pete, because I'd be like, everybody's
like, hi. How you
Oh.
how's it going? Oh,
I see you.
I'll see you at Christmas. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm gonna tell your mom.
family
Yeah,
member.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you
Sit
about
down.
it.
What are
You're
you
like,
doing here? No,
great.
what are you doing
I know.
here?
Or,
I know.
or, hey, Auntie, why you up
See,
Auntie, what are you doing? You're like, oh my god.
there? Anyway, okay,
Don't
that's
call me
we're
Auntie.
going
That's
somewhere
all
else.
right, all right. But yeah, okay, you answered the
That's
question.
great.
I'm sorry, I had to
It's
ask.
okay. Yeah.
Speaking
Yeah.
of lucrative business, it is though, and then you're
Yeah.
an entrepreneur, you see it.
For
so.
sure. For sure. That's great.
We did have a few other questions. So you did have an injury prior, right? So I'm sorry, I have to go through my
No
notes
worries.
again.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the questions that we have. So you already talked about how you dealt with your lower back pain and inflammation.
Mhm.
What was the type of supplements, like you said, ancient Chinese secret medicine, or
Yeah.
what? No, for real.
No,
but
for
yeah.
real. Yeah.
Okay, so what
Yeah.
kind of stuff was that you were using?
So, I visited my acupuncturist, and she worked on me with acupuncture and in lieu of the pain. And I can't honestly, I can't tell you because it probably can't even pronounce the, the
Mm.
names of the Chinese herbs,
Mm.
but specifically it was Chinese herbs that were targeted for pain.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna talk after this. You can
I
give me your
know, I don't-
supplement list because I
know.
could
So
use
it's
some.
literally ancient
Mhm.
Chinese secret.
It is. Another
Yep.
question that I have for you. Do you have any clients or people that you coach that are vegan, vegetarians, or on specific diet, gluten free, so on and so forth? And how do you help them, especially meeting like a criteria for bodybuilding when we have an image to portray on stage?
Gotcha. You know, for specifically for competition though, I did not have yet someone that comes to me that was vegan. I do have lifestyle clients that come to me when they're vegan. And so for me, when they start to tell me, because I see them like, say, for example, your consultation, what do you want to do? And so when they share that with me, I'm like, okay, great. I actually will do my research because I want them to understand what I'm trying to get them while keeping their options in line with what they're personally feeding themselves, along with the vegan avenue. So I'll do my research to give them suggestions on that.
Mm.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually trained, I think, one or two vegans, but honestly, I'm not into it. So
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's not, again, you do what you want to do,
Yeah.
you can be a vegan if you want, like, I don't have any
Yeah.
problem with it, but it's just not, it's not my thing. And then I don't really agree with it,
Mhm.
like that style of eating. So I'm just
Yeah.
like, it's better if I just don't train those type of
Mhm.
people, just because I don't see the benefit in it. I mean,
Right.
there's some, but overall, I like to eat meat. So I just say,
Yeah.
so
Right.
I just say, hey, maybe there's somebody else who can help you with that,
Okay.
and
Okay.
that's cool. Again, it's all
Just
good.
thinking about that too. I mean, just, in having to do some of the research, I remember when I was trying to take care of her food, I did start to gravitate towards, I said to myself, I'm like, I'm gonna try seitan,
Mm.
right? Let me see, So and then actually found that I did like seitan. And then I found, okay, so, I'm looking at the nutrition. I'm like, okay, so the fats, okay, they're very little. It's like 0.5. My protein is up. Hey, here's something
Yeah.
else I could, that I can use as a source of protein.
Yeah.
So that was it was kind of cool, just, having that client.
Yeah.
So it turned me on to, okay, there's some other things too that I
Yeah,
could
because
adopt from
that's how I discovered that I don't want to train them. Because I was
Yeah,
like, sure, I
fair.
could do that.
Yeah.
And then I started getting into it, and I started seeing it, and I was just like,
Huh.
that's not really my thing. And I
Yeah.
ended up training the guy anyway, and I did it. And like I said, I think there was two clients. And then I was just like, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm probably not going to do it anymore. You know what I mean? Because I
Yeah.
discovered not
Nah.
for me,
Yeah.
not for Mark. But other people, hey, man, go
Hey,
ahead.
yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
So, knowing that your background or your basis is pole fitness, and you kind of are a coach, do you have any other girls, since they know your background in the bodybuilding thing, do you have any of your pole girls question you whether or not bodybuilding and contest prep for them might be a thing, or
Mhm.
they're like, oh heck no, we'll just stick to the pole?
Both.
Okay.
No, I mean, because they'll see me, and when you're in contest prep, when you're in,
And they're
when
like,
you're in,
oh, look your arms.
right, and
Oh,
they're always like, oh, you're whatever, and so they see me change, um, and I think yes, it's inspiring to some people, who where it's their relationship with fitness at that
okay.
point, because we're whole. So some of them very much so, yes, actually, oh boy, yeah. So this past year, I have had more girls
Oh,
see me
cool.
in the studio and just, kind of go, ooh. And it's because they've seen my change.
Awesome.
Because like,
Awesome.
when you're dieting down or, coming down, you look different. I do look
Of
different
course.
when
Yeah.
I'm like
Oh, yeah.
off season.
Yeah, of course. Of course. It changes. The face comes
Yeah.
down. And
I also too, I know that Tina's your primary coach, right?
Yes.
For here, fitness and bodybuilding and so on. how important is it that you follow her plan to the T? Is there a certain exercise sequence that you guys need to adhere to, or you guys follow along as the weights free up, or um, how good of a client you are to Tina? Is like we're putting her on the spot here.
I love this question because I actually tell all of my clients about me, why I am the way I am as a coach.
Okay.
So when I decided to have a coach, that's it. That's my decision. I'm coming and I am a coach, but I know my goal was twofold: to get better after the back injury,
Okay.
and with weights, because I had done I can brush my teeth and everything. But my goal was to get better because I wanted to compete again.
Okay.
And so my thought process in a coach relationship is I'm seeking out advice, I'm seeking out your guidance, your expertise. So I'm going to listen.
Wonderful.
Smart.
I mean, why question someone? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's your coach.
Right.
The way I feel is I have 100% trust
Beautiful.
in
Okay.
what my coach says.
Yes.
Yeah.
My coach says, we're doing great. We still need to work on whatever.
Yeah.
I'm just whatever the case may be. Great. All right. Let's switch it up then.
Yeah.
Let's do that. I want to get better.
Yeah.
And with your eyes input, me adhering to it, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
When it comes to the food, I'm like, and I just joked about it right before we got in here, where I'll think of things and I'll text and I'll ask.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because I want to get to this, next level with my body while being safe, injury
Yes.
free, so that
Smart.
I can have a prolonged,
Yeah, longevity in the sport,
lifestyle
in
in
life,
yeah,
in
No,
general.
sport in life.
So
Yeah.
anytime, especially around, the female cycle, you start feeling some type of way, want to be eat something sugary, fatty, a little bit more carbs. Are you like, Tina, it's that time. Could I please have a thing? Or do you go ahead and have your guilty pleasure and then be like, Tina, I effed up. I ate a slice of cake.
Gotcha.
How do you handle that?
Twofold. You're gonna laugh at me when I say, okay, so that period thing, I came and I'm graciously accepting perimenopause as of 2 years ago. So the period
Okay.
things I kind of don't even have anymore.
Sorry. But you still get the hormonal fluctuations anyway.
And so these amount of years when I have that, how I've dealt with things is if it's a sweet thing, I'll try and from my mind, I actually like shakes, protein shakes, because I think they're
Really?
sweet. Yeah. Like I love protein shakes. They're like dessert to me. So anyway, so when there's something like that, then I'll try to work around it. If it is something that I'm like, I really don't know, and maybe it's crucial I stay on point
Yes.
because maybe I'm that close to whatever I'm preparing for, then I will ask her. But I mean, it is what it is. You ask, whatever the answer is, that's what it is. And it's really up to not, I was going to say you, but it's really up to me because I want to show up for my competition, whatever, feeling like I did all I needed to do. I did all I could do. I worked with my coach, boom, we're good. It's like a self, it's a self-satisfaction. It's something to me, meaning it's a promise that I
that
made
that
to
is awesome
myself.
knowing that you didn't cut corners. Had you have to get your fix, that you talked to Tina openly about it. And
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people who go ahead and do things behind their coach's back, and it's to the competitor's detriment, because some of the times, more likely than not, it shows up on stage, and that could be the difference between first and second and third, or whatever your placings may be.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before as well too, and a lot of people, I mean, they may take it to the grave and be like, no, I did everything on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
you did everything on point. Okay, cool. But that was awesome. Is there any other questions that you guys had before we start wrapping it up?
Do you have
What?
any more? Do you have another question though? Or somebody?
I asked.
Oh,
Somebody
we got
like that
from the
somebody
viewer. We got a
asked.
list of them from
I know there was another one or two.
yo. There's a bunch, but we'll pick one
Yeah,
and do another one next week.
yeah.
From Darius Hart 7110 on YouTube. Let's see which one.
You can answer too.
Okay.
Actually, you covered a couple of these,
Okay.
Gina.
Okay, good.
You did the
Cool.
vegan one and the one about joints
Okay.
with your back. Actually,
Yeah.
my he asked, how do you deal with or treat joint inflammation pain, supplements for knee pain, shoulder pain? He's found it helpful to warm up before exercise. However, after his workout, at nighttime, his joints are still aching. So, what do you guys recommend?
You had your ancient Chinese secret. So
Yeah.
what you do at nighttime to soothe your back or your achy joints.
I do follow a lot of this. I believe in self-care, especially after we work our bodies a lot. Epsom salt baths,
Okay.
topical rubs, right? There's ancient Chinese secret rubs as
Yeah.
well. And also we have of course heating pads when you need
Oh,
it,
that's my
ice
favorite.
when you need it, honestly,
Yeah.
and then the hyper ice, the compression sleeves
Okay.
for
yeah.
legs and hips. That's what we do.
Oh,
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
And you feel it works pretty well.
I feel that
Yeah.
I had to do a lot of different things to recover, and those are the things in addition to the inversion table for myself.
Oh yeah, for sure. And definitely, fish oil, basic stuff.
Yeah.
Cut back on alcohol consumption.
Oh yeah.
Anything that's going to cause inflammation. So high sugar,
good one.
sugary drinks,
Mhm.
alcohol, those type of things. Like I tell you what, for me personally, if I drink some alcohol and it has, it's a sugary alcohol drink, I'm not gonna lie, like after one or two, man, my neck starts hurting,
Oh,
my
okay.
elbows start hurting. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I feel it. Like my body's very reactive. And I'm like, oh, so it hits me.
Mhm.
So I know I'm like, oh, it's getting inflamed
Right.
already, and that's one or two mixed sugary drinks, right? So
Yeah.
so definitely I think that's a big one just to keep it at bay, right? I mean,
Mhm.
there's so many different things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've used like BPC 157 for it
Yeah.
to help. I've used growth hormone,
500 with it as
GH,
well
yeah,
too.
TB
Yeah. So
500.
mhm.
I've used growth hormone. I think growth hormone is a great one. You can get it prescribed.
GCHU
But
copper is another good one for inflammation and joint pain and such. So
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
put that with the
there's
BPC
a bunch.
157 TB 500. So
Yep.
those are a few options, but it gets expensive.
Well, some people don't want to
Mm.
inject either, but
And
hey,
other people don't
it
want to
does. It
inject
gets
either.
pricey, but it's I don't know.
Hey.
If the pain's bad, I mean,
Yeah.
Like as far as myself, what I did for a lot of my pain and inflammation, whether it be surgery of some type, I also did PRP injections, which seems to be working okay, a lot better than before. I'm not a pain medicine person. I'd rather go the Chinese herbs
Yeah.
if I had a chance.
Yeah.
So that's I rather stick to the conservative route as well too. So any more questions, Jed?
Yeah, we got I'll give my 2 cents on the joints. Then there's a couple we could rapid fire real quick. As far as the joints, make sure you're hydrated. Anytime I do something that pushes water out, my joints start hurting really bad.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from that. Supplementation, you mentioned the omega fats, so that's important. Arthrolyze by Species is really great for the joints. And there's
Mhm.
another one by USP Labs. I don't know if they still make it. It's called Super Cystis RX. Those two together are great. Another thing that I've started doing, if you guys have sore joints in the gym, is increasing your range of motion, lighten the weight, and starting from a fully stretched, loaded position. So
Stretching.
for instance, for dumbbell press, I'll go all the way down to it and I'll pause and come up. And I have to lighten the weight, but I get more sore. Also, at the end of a set, even on like cable flies, you can all go way out, you can go all the way back and just let it pull and just slowly relax and let the weight pull back for like 20, 30 seconds at the end of your last couple of sets. That'll help get the joints a little stronger too.
All right.
So, all right, here's some quick ones. Proper doses of creatine per day, and is it effective to do cycles of it 10 weeks on, 10 weeks off?
I think 10 weeks on, 10 weeks off, maybe for like kidney reasons, probably. They depends a lot. Some people do get some kidney issues with it. You have to drink a lot of fluid with it. I think cycling creatine is probably, yeah, I would say it's good. I don't think it's something that I would run all year round. You give yourself a break, Maybe you
Well,
could do like a 12-week cycle
I'm
even.
coming from a different perspective where, like, as far as something like creatine, you don't have to preload it. You can use
Yeah,
minimum
I
amount
don't
of
agree with
5 grams.
preload. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's something that you could use basically year round, unless you have like a kidney problem
Yeah.
or some sort of like organ
Yeah, I
something or
agree.
another. It, creatine has been around since the
It's been around a long
ages.
time.
Like
There's so much
95.
Well, and
studies
it's in your
on it.
body. Yeah.
So, it's relatively very safe to maintain.
You know
it
why I
year
like the
round.
cycle though? You know why I like the cycle?
Why is that?
For the mental side. Because what happens, and this happens to a lot of people, right? You take it for a while, you're just taking it daily, you're just kind of like, I'm taking it. When you get off of it for a while, right? You get off of it for maybe say a month or so, 2 months. And then when you go, I'm gonna go back on creatine. Sometimes it gets you fired up. Like, and it's creatine,
Yeah,
and I'm making
creatine!
fun of
Oh,
creatine. Like, I'm just saying it's creatine. This is for all the natties out there, okay? This is for the natties, baby. But okay. But if we were to translate that into, the guys that are on the gear, it's like, oh man, it's time to run my gear. I'm going to get back on my Winnie. I'm going to get back on my trend.
Tren.
Fired up. I'm going to tell you right now, those first 2-3 weeks of working out when I
2
got back on
grams.
it is crazy good workouts. Right. So it's there's a mental game to it. I think, and I think it's helpful. I think it's helpful
Yeah.
to like cycle. Because like anything else, I think you just get used to it. You get off it for a little while, then when you go back on, you're like, oh yeah, it's time. It's time to load up on the.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
go. 10 grams of creatine a day, baby. Let's do it. No.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
excessive.
10 grams. 10
You
grams.
use creatine?
No.
Okay.
So my dose recommendation is between 5 to 10.
Yeah.
I would just say post workout. Typically, that's how I would do it. That's it.
It makes sense more for me to do a pre-workout.
Yeah, I do a post.
Okay.
I used to do slim sugar creatine post workout.
I'm
Shuttle
doing
right in
just
the
the
muscle.
creatine.
We're just,
Yeah, I'm
we're,
good.
we're going that level, and I used to
Yeah.
throw in my little GH too. But anyway, that was the other episode. But yeah. So okay,
Alright.
so go ahead. What's the next one?
And I want your perspective on this because you definitely do a lot of training. So when I asked this, I also want you to put in, when do you specifically know you're pushing too much, along with the dancing in the gym and all that. But he
Okay.
asked, how long is too long training in the gym?
Oh,
Hmm.
you want to go first? You go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long is too long?
Wait, hold on. Is that for bodybuilding or is that what kind of training is that?
Yeah.
Because it depends.
It does depend.
Yeah.
Probably bodybuilding, since this is a bodybuilding podcast.
Right.
Well,
We'll go
she
with
can give her
bodybuilding.
insight too, because
Okay.
she's doing extra stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, because most of my lifting happened before I go to work anyway, so I like to have fresh. But I feel that 2 hours for that lifting session and then another one for my cardio. So
Okay.
that's what I
That's not
like.
bad.
And I just like to have that time.
Okay.
So I'll wake up earlier to do it and so forth. Knowing when I'm burning out is okay. I'll be honest, that's really hard for me. It's really hard for me.
You have high energy.
Yeah, I have high energy. And physically, I'll know because I will start to feel very achy.
Okay. Okay.
And for the most time, I'm go anyway. So I'll start to feel really achy. And then it's a total drain fatigue that sets in.
I see.
Yeah. And it lasts. It's not just like a 1 day thing. Like I'll feel it over time.
Yeah.
And then I know like, ooh, maybe
That's where it
I'll.
becomes the new
yeah.
norm.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Mel.
As far as training, when it becomes how much is too much, everybody has a their own threshold, I like to say. So more people can tolerate, not more, some people can tolerate more than others. Or say you have a very taxing, laborious, intensive job out in the sun all day long, and then you come to the gym, maybe an hour and a half might just do the trick versus trying to do like reps over sets over exercise. And like, say, because we talked about how elaborate your gym is with machines, you don't need to do every machine, to get a good workout for whatever your specific muscle group is, and be a little bit more concise and thought out with your training plan. Other people, as far as myself with my backache that I have, If I could put in a good, nice, steady 35, 45 minutes, I'm like, yeah, ooh, that was good. And I call it a day
Yeah.
because anything past a certain threshold,
Yeah.
like just with the back problem,
Yeah.
if I push myself too far, I'm down for like the next 3 to 4 days just trying to recover because everything is inflamed and hurts so much. So everyone has a different threshold and it depends on how long you've been training. I mean, those parameters may differ, but um going back to the whole being mindful of your exercise and stuff like that, you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours in the gym thinking you're going to grow more because after a certain end, it's going to be more deleterious because you won't have recovery time. On top of that as well, too, if you can push past your third or whatever hour in the gym, then I don't think you're hitting the initial workout hard enough. Your basic square workouts hard enough. So, I mean, it's a common give and take, I think. So that's my answer to that.
Okay. I like to do 8 hours a day.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm the complete opposite. So my thing with that question is I don't think that it's a very broad question because each individual, right? Everybody's different. Somebody who's younger might be able to push it a little bit longer. Somebody who's older, maybe not as much. Maybe this guy is on some gear. Maybe that guy's not on gear. Maybe this guy doesn't take care of himself as much. He can't train as hard. Maybe this guy is really healthy. He eats enough calories. He can go longer. I definitely don't think that there's like a cookie cutter time for it. Personally, I feel like kind of what you guys are saying, like, I mean, if you listen to your body and your training and you push yourself hard, you'll be able to feel there's that point where it just starts to kind of diminish. And it's just kind of like now you're just moving weights,
Yeah.
but you're not really going to benefit too much from it.
Yeah.
And that could be, I think for most people, honestly, I mean, you could get benefits from a half an hour workout. Say somebody who's older, they come in 3-4 days a week. They could probably come in and do 30 minutes and probably get pretty good benefits from it because you're saving, especially if they have some joint issues and other issues, you could just do less of a load. They get something from it, and then they can come back, 2 days later, and they're feeling good. You're not beating them up too much, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
The other guy, I feel like an hour is a good time. 2 hours to me to do a bodybuilding workout is kind of a lot. I think if you were doing strength training, powerlifting, that's probably
A
about
lot
right
of rest time
because
in
they're doing
between.
5-minute
Yeah.
rests in between set
Yeah.
stuff. Ideally, to me, for bodybuilding, I've always said maybe 2-minute breaks in between, 2-minute breaks in between sets for heavy sets, about 2 minutes. If you're really trying to go, I mean, maximum heavy, you could rest 5 minutes and then you're doing that killer set with some drop sets, some force reps, whatever. You're moving on to the next one, right? But so really, yeah, I don't think 2 hours, you shouldn't be in the gym for 2 hours, but some people can do it. So the main thing though is just honestly, it's individual and it push as hard as you can go until you can't push at that level anymore. And then that's probably good enough. Then it's time to pack it up, take a shower.
So if you either have intra workout or you've eaten about an hour before training, I would say 1 to 1.5 hours, tack on extra 30 minutes for doing cardio. Rest times go by feel, but don't be going set after set because there's sets. You need time in between. Don't be swiping left and right on Tinder, taking all day. And don't be playing on your phone. Power lifters. I don't give a shit when anybody says I've trained more than one power lifter that have gotten state records and I've not let them rest 5, 6, 10 minutes in between sets. They don't need that. And so as long as they're eating right and everything, they're good.
I think
So
5 minutes is good.
the sitting there playing on I've literally seen guys
Oh, they don't have to play on the phone.
playing on
That's for sure.
Tinder,
Well,
sitting on the leg press
they
in between
should be.
sets.
I think they should be engaged in their training session.
Yeah.
And that is a problem because and I agree with you on that one. If you're on the phone in between sets, looking at random shit and you're trying to train, you're not in it, right?
Yeah.
You're not in it, or you're talking on the phone.
I did that at 24-hour fitness. Because people are just camping on machines and you're trying to get your workout on. I'd be like, excuse me, how many more texts you got? And they're like, huh, what? I was like, yeah, how many more texts you got?
Yeah.
And they're like, huh? Oh, you can have it. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck yeah,
Yeah.
beat it.
If you put that energy into your workout, you probably wouldn't have to be going on Tinder.
Yeah.
Tinder. Yeah. Yeah. And I actually,
Like that.
I don't time rests. So I never time rest.
I don't time.
you just kind of know, right? Unless you're training, if this like specific sports specific, maybe that's good for timing. Sometimes
Yeah.
you're just trying to you want to take certain time and go at certain time and go. You're training for something specific, yeah. But bodybuilding, even powerlifting, is not really. You don't have to time it. I feel like you just kind of know. It's like, all right, it's time to go. Let's hit it.
You do want to give close to all out on every set you give on some when you get to the last few sets. You do want to rest
for
up
sure.
and stuff. Well, actually, one of the biggest problems I have with new clients is I have to slow them down because they keep trying to go set after set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and this is the thing too, right? I think because, like I said, everybody's different, and there are some people who can recover in between sets faster than somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So especially for people that have workout partners and stuff, sometimes some people will feel like they'll be like, man, I'm always trying to catch up to my partner.
Yeah.
Because he's doing his sets and he's going, and I'm always feeling like I'm behind. And that's because sometimes you're training with somebody who does recover faster.
Yeah.
You know, and you might it might take you longer. But I mean, it's cool that you're trying to keep up with them, but at the same time, yeah, they're probably always going to be ahead because they can recover quicker. And everybody's different, you know. So you gotta look at that.
I like that.
So you got any more, or are we good?
We got one more, but let's
One
save
more?
it for the
Okay.
next because this one could get drawn out.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a good one for next time.
All right. That's pretty good.
Is
Thank
there
you.
any last messages that you would like to share with the people in TV land out there, especially because you have
YouTube land.
YouTube land. You got a pretty big platform as far as whom you are, especially in the fitness industry, the pageantry, the pole. I mean, and now you have a lot of nonprofits out there and advocating for so many different things out there. If there's one message you could share with everyone, what would it be? I know it's a hard one.
If I could, if it's an event.
Anything.
If I could. So my work with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention is having an Out of the Darkness walk, and that's going to be on September 14th. Please feel free to reach out. It is a walk that's going towards the idea of prevention with suicide and having resources available for those who need it on the island.
Amazing.
So please feel free to reach out to me on IG or Facebook.
Yeah, let them know where they could find you as well too, please.
We'll put all links.
Yeah, we'll put it all,
yeah,
but just say just for fun.
At IG GG1219, Facebook Gina Ross. I'm always here, happy to help. So please reach out.
And your Fitness for Goddess page as well too.
Fit for a Goddess on IG and Facebook. See.
Amazing.
Thank you
for
so
coming on.
much.
Oh,
Love the
Thank
energy.
you.
Love the energy always.
Thank
Great
you
having you
so
on.
much.
Nice.
So-
I'll hug Jed, but he's over the way over there.
He doesn't like hugs that much.
Oh.
He likes- no, I'm just kidding. He's our tech guy, you know. All right. Well, thank you again
you.
for coming on. It was an
Yeah.
awesome episode. I'm sure, maybe we'll have you back on some other time. You can answer some more questions. You
Yes,
did great.
please.
I'm
since
happy to do
you're a
so.
Fantastic coach yourself. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in this time for Paradise Pump. And we will see you next time. Aloha.
All right. So I talked about it in the podcast for pole. We do use a lot of back. So being able to strengthen, I like to use our lat pull downs. And so hands going to be nice and wide. Going to stretch a little bit, kind of get that up there. Retract down, pull, pull, pull right in front. Slowly releasing, using control. Little stretch, engage, and start to pull down, drawing down with the elbows, chest lifted. Challenging, nice and slow to release.
And the slow negatives help with the static holding on the pole and doing stuff like that.
Absolutely. So my favorite for back, lat pull downs, use it here and on the pole.